I remember buying this book when it first came out in 2011. I got really mad at the first case because the solution is glass wind chimes emit a sound wave frequency of over 3400 hertz. Therefore, you cannot hear a wind chime on a phone call. It's just like the Encyclopedia Brown mysteries that rely on obscure facts that readers cannot reasonably be expected to know.
Argo Fump Book Review, Argo Fump Book Review.
The first third of the book is a case called Turnabout with the Wind. Phoenix and Maya wear traditional robes when attending a wind chime festival. They learn Larry Butz has a new girlfriend. The book jumps ahead to Larry being on trial for the murder of Belle's ex-boyfriend. Winston Payne is the prosecutor, and I can't tell if the story is rushed or if Payne is just terrible at solving murder mysteries. For example, a security photo shows the victim was fatally stabbed long before reaching the place where he died. Payne doesn't know or care where the stabbing happened. That's a pretty big detail to overlook, Payne. Larry's alibi is that he and Belle were on a video call for an hour. There is some footage and pictures of the call, almost like Larry and Belle knew they would be part of a murder trial. Payne brings in a scary-looking woman who runs an inn. A mystery client paid a lot of money to secure a room and decorate it on the night of the murder. The next day, the room was empty, except for the murder weapon. Payne concludes the culprit disguised the room as their own home to create a fake, I'm on a video call from home alibi. Phoenix realizes Belle's is the culprit because there's a wind chime card visible in one of the photos. That means she had the window open. If she had been at her real house at the time, the window would have been closed due to a severe rainstorm. Therefore, she was in this fake room in a totally different part of Los Angeles. Belle denies the accusations, but she accidentally slips up by saying where she stabbed the victim. She tries to cover by saying, I know where he was stabbed because I heard wind chimes from the Wind Chime Festival. Phoenix rejects this argument because, as everyone knows, you can't hear wind chimes on cell phones. Belle confesses she's the killer. She only dated Larry because she needed an idiot to be the fall guy for her schemes. The story ends with Phoenix and Maya reflecting on the nature of love. It's supposed to be serious and tragic, but I'm getting some romantic vibes from them here. The rest of the book is the first half of the Turnabout Gallows mystery. Hopefully my recap will not miss any minor details, which become crucial in the next book. Phoenix and Maya are hired by Robin Wolfe, a rich CEO. He recently had a stern meeting with a nasty employee named Eddie Johnson. On the way home, Eddie flew into a screaming panic, saying, "A giant spider is about to eat me!" He fell off a wall and died in front of a large crowd. Wolfe has a gorgeous wife and daughter who look like they're from a teenage boy's fantasy. The wife, Therida, is distant and doesn't want to talk to anyone. Lyra is an angry teenager. She was dating the victim, and she yells at her dad all the time. "Why do you keep killing my boyfriends, Dad? You're so mean. I'm gonna run away and get drunk now." The victim's brother, Brock, shows up with a giant case of beer. Both Brock and Lyra argue with Wolfe. Wolfe has a guest house, which is creepy and filled with hundreds of spiders. They belong to his brother Bobby. On the night of the murder, Wolfe sent Bobby away on an unimportant errand in San Francisco. Brock says this was an excuse, so Wolfe could take the victim into the spider house and scare him to death. There's a section break here. I thought, okay, after that long introduction, we're going to start the trial. Haha, no. We're not even close to finishing the introduction. It's sort of like Case 5 of Great Ace Attorney 1, where you have to wait 2.5 hours before the murder occurs. Phoenix, Maya, and Brock enter the spider den. They meet the shy Bobby and his friend, Professor Thomas Spitzer. They both have spider hair. Phoenix's narration says this will become the case of the terrifying Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man does. There is a one-person elevator that goes up to the ceiling. A spider named Charlotte escapes. They capture the spider near some gas cans. The spider lays a bunch of eggs in Phoenix's pocket. That's gross. Also, I assume this is a joke reference to Charlotte's Web. The room has a reclining chair with heavy restraints. It's designed to hold Bobby down whenever he has a fit. You can remove the restraints with a remote, or by touching the switch at the bottom, or by turning off the power to the building. Wolfe disappears. He wakes up trapped in the restraints in the spider den. He sees a Spider-Man crawling on the ceiling. Spider-Man says he's coated the building with gas, and he just started a 30-minute time bomb. If Wolfe doesn't escape in time, he'll die. Wolfe draws a picture of the Spider-Man, which I am sure will be important evidence in the trial. Around 11 o'clock, Lyra returns from her drinking party. Brock returns from drinking with Bobby. Lyra complains her dad and uncle have a low alcohol tolerance. Why is there so much beer talk in this case? And it's kind of rude that Phoenix and Maya were forced to sit in a room by themselves while everybody else went out. Just in time, they learn Wolfe is trapped in the spider den. He begs them to turn off the power. Lyra does so, but the top of the building explodes anyway. I'm not sure if she was too late or if the culprit lied about how to turn off the bomb. The spider den building burns down. Wolfe is found dead, not from the explosion or the fire, but from a severe head injury. We end with the dramatic revelation that the security alarms didn't go off, meaning nobody left the property. That means one of the characters must be the killer. I understand the point that Detective Gumshoe is making, but at the same time, didn't half the characters leave the property to go out drinking? The end. Postbook follow-up. I think the first case needed to be longer. It felt a bit like the author wrote a 100-page story, but was later forced to cut it down to 70 pages. I'm guessing they wanted the first case to feel like a simpler tutorial case, the kind you get at the start of a Phoenix Wright game. It was a bit too complicated and rushed to be considered a simpler case. Or maybe I'm just grumpy that 2 of the big clues involved wind chime knowledge. I never think about wind chimes ever. The second case has the opposite problem. There is way too much setup and introduction, over 100 pages of it, before the murder happens. Surely some of the scenes could have been cut? I won't spoil who is and who is not a red herring character who barely appears in the next book, but I think that red herring character should have been eliminated entirely. The story noticeably picks up once Wolfe is kidnapped. Maybe that should have happened sooner. Then again, everybody leaves for a significant period of time at that point because, well, it's a murder mystery. It works better when none of the suspects have alibis. Overall, I'd say the book has bad pacing. I think the 3 parts were originally sold separately, in which case the pacing would not be as bad. And I totally understand why they stretched out Case 2. They wanted the book to end on a cliffhanger so people would buy the next book of the series. I would be lying if I said the games did not have big cliffhangers in the exact same way. I give Phoenix Wright Volume 1 a 4 out of 10.